Hi there, I am your host, Danwant Singh. You are watching the screens of Danwant Computer and Artistic Skills YouTube channel. Welcome to our deep dive into the spiral model and software engineering. This isn't your average model, folks. This is about embracing the chaos, understanding the risks, and coming out on top with a killer piece of software. Today, we'll explore its advantages, disadvantages, uses, and phases. We're going to rip this model apart, see what makes it tick, and figure out if it's the right fit for your software dreams. So buckle up, get ready for some serious knowledge bombs, and let's spiral into the heart of software engineering. First things first, let's talk about why the spiral model is so cool. The spiral model is a unique software development methodology that combines the best features of both the waterfall and iterative models. It's designed to handle complex and high-risk projects with ease. Imagine a spiral where each loop represents a phase in the development process. As you move through each loop, you get closer to the final product, but with the added benefit of continuous refinement and risk assessment. It's all about risk management, baby. One of the standout features of the spiral model is its focus on identifying and mitigating risks early in the development process. Each loop in the spiral starts with a thorough risk analysis, allowing the team to address potential issues before they become major problems. This proactive approach ensures that the project stays on track and within budget. Every loop in the spiral is a chance to sniff out potential problems and squash them like bugs. This iterative process means that the team is constantly testing and refining the software, ensuring that any issues are caught and resolved early. This not only improves the quality of the final product, but also reduces the overall development time. But it's not just about playing it safe. The spiral model also encourages innovation and creativity. By allowing for continuous feedback and iteration, the team can experiment with new ideas and approaches, leading to a more robust and feature-rich product. This flexibility is especially important in today's fast-paced tech environment, where requirements and technologies are constantly evolving. The spiral model is flexible. Unlike the rigid structure of the waterfall model, the spiral model allows for changes and adjustments at any stage of the development process. This means that if new requirements emerge or if the project scope changes, the team can easily adapt without derailing the entire project. Need to make a change? No problem. The spiral model's iterative nature means that changes can be incorporated seamlessly without causing major disruptions. This adaptability is crucial for projects with evolving requirements or those that need to respond quickly to market changes. This model can handle it. Whether it's a minor tweak or a major overhaul, the spiral model's structure ensures that the team can respond effectively and efficiently. This level of flexibility is a game changer for software development, allowing teams to deliver high-quality products that meet the needs of their users. And the best part? Your customer is along for the ride the whole time. The spiral model emphasizes continuous communication and collaboration with the customer. This means that the customer is involved in every phase of the development process, providing feedback and input that helps shape the final product. We're talking constant feedback, early prototypes, and a level of collaboration that would make even the most jaded developer crack a smile. By involving the customer early and often, the team can ensure that the final product meets their needs and expectations. This collaborative approach not only improves the quality of the software, but also builds a stronger relationship with the customer. This iterative approach means you're constantly building, testing, and improving. Each loop in the spiral provides an opportunity to refine and enhance the software, resulting in a more polished and reliable product. This continuous improvement process is key to delivering high-quality software that meets the needs of users. And don't even get me started on how perfect this is for those big, hairy, audacious projects. The spiral model is particularly well suited for large and complex projects that require careful planning and risk management. Its iterative nature allows the team to break down the project into manageable chunks, making it easier to tackle even the most challenging tasks. We're talking the kind of software that would make your head spin. From advanced AI systems to large-scale enterprise applications, the Spiral model can handle it all. Its flexibility and focus on risk management make it the ideal choice for projects that push the boundaries of what's possible. But fear not, the Spiral model is here to save the day, bringing together the best of waterfall and iterative development. By combining the structured approach of the waterfall model with the flexibility of iterative development, the Spiral model offers the best of both worlds. It's a powerful tool that can help teams deliver high-quality software on time and within budget. Now, before you go thinking the Spiral model is some kind of magic bullet, let's talk about the downsides. First off, it's complex. Like really complex. We're not just talking about a few extra steps here and there. No, the Spiral model involves a lot of moving parts, each with its own set of requirements and documentation. Imagine trying to juggle multiple balls while riding a unicycle. That's the level of complexity we're dealing with here. We're talking about a lot of moving parts, a lot of documentation, and a whole lot of brain power. Every phase of the Spiral model requires meticulous planning and execution. You need to be constantly aware of what's happening in each iteration, and that means keeping track of a ton of information. This isn't just a one-time setup, it's an ongoing process that demands continuous attention and effort. And complexity often means one thing: cost. The more complex a project, the more resources it consumes. We're talking about financial resources, human resources, and time. All these elements add up, making the Spiral model an expensive endeavor. You need a well-funded project and a team that's not only skilled, but also capable of handling the intricacies involved. The Spiral model can be expensive, both in terms of time and money. If you're working on a tight budget or a strict timeline, this model might not be the best fit. The iterative nature of the Spiral model means that you're constantly revisiting and refining different aspects of the project, which can lead to extended timelines and increased costs. And if you're working on a small project, forget about it. The Spiral model is designed for large, complex projects that require a high level of oversight and management. For smaller projects, the overhead involved in managing the Spiral model can be more trouble than it's worth. You'd be better off with a simpler, more straightforward approach. This model is like using a chainsaw to cut butter overkill. It's simply too much for small-scale projects. The level of detail and the amount of documentation required can be overwhelming and unnecessary for simpler tasks. You need to match the complexity of your project with the right development model, and the Spiral model is definitely on the more complex end of the spectrum. Another thing to keep in mind is that the Spiral model lives and breathes risk analysis. Risk management is at the core of this model, and that means you need to be constantly vigilant. Every iteration involves identifying potential risks, assessing their impact, and coming up with strategies to mitigate them. This requires a team that's not only skilled in development, but also proficient in risk management. You gotta be on top of your game, constantly identifying and mitigating potential problems. This isn't a set it and forget it model. It demands continuous attention and proactive management. If you're not prepared to invest the time and effort into thorough risk analysis, the Spiral model can quickly become a liability rather than an asset. And if you're not careful, you can get bogged down in documentation. The Spiral model requires extensive documentation at every phase. This can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it ensures that every aspect of the project is well documented and transparent. On the other hand, it can lead to information making it difficult to keep track of everything. Finally, measuring progress can be tricky. With all those loops and iterations, it can be tough to know exactly where you are in the development process. Each iteration builds on the previous one, and while this allows for continuous improvement, it can also make it challenging to pinpoint your exact progress at any given time. With all those loops and iterations, it can be tough to know exactly where you are in the development process. The iterative nature of the Spiral model means that you're always in a state of flux, constantly refining and improving. While this is great for ensuring a high-quality end product, it can make it difficult to measure progress in a linear fashion. You need to be comfortable with a certain level of ambiguity and be prepared to adapt as the project evolves. So when does the spiral model really shine? Well, if you're tackling a large, complex project with a healthy dose of risk, you're looking at a match made in software heaven. We're talking about those mission-critical systems where failure is not an option. And if you're dabbling in research and development, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, the spiral model is your new best friend. It's perfect for those long-term projects where requirements are likely to change, and you need the flexibility to adapt on the fly. But most importantly, the spiral model is all about the customer. If you're building something truly innovative, something that requires constant feedback and collaboration, this is the way to go. It's all about building the right product, the right way, and keeping your customers happy every step of the way. All right, let's break down the spiral model into its core components. The spiral model is a unique approach to software development that combines elements of both design and prototyping in stages. It's particularly useful for large, complex, and high-risk projects. By iterating through a series of cycles, the model allows for continuous refinement and risk management. Each loop in the spiral represents an iteration of the software development process, and each iteration consists of 4 key phases. These phases are designed to address different aspects of the project, ensuring that all bases are covered before moving on to the next loop. First up, we've got planning. This phase is crucial as it sets the foundation for the entire project. During planning, the team defines the project's objectives, scope, and constraints. They also identify the resources needed, such as time, budget, and personnel. This is the stage where you lay out your roadmap and ensure everyone is on the same page. This is where you define your objectives, figure out your resources, and basically get your ducks in a row. It's also the time to establish milestones and deliverables, which will help track progress and keep the project on schedule. Effective planning can make or break a project, so it's essential to be thorough and meticulous. Then it's time for risk analysis. This phase is all about identifying potential risks that could derail the project. The team conducts a thorough risk assessment to pinpoint any issues that might arise. They then develop strategies to mitigate these risks, ensuring that the project stays on track. This is where you put on your detective hat, identify potential problems, and come up with clever ways to avoid them. Risk analysis is not just about identifying problems, it's also about finding solutions. The team brainstorms various scenarios and develops contingency plans to address any issues that might come up. Once you've got a handle on the risks, it's time to get your hands dirty with some engineering. This phase involves the actual design, development, and testing of the software. The team works on creating prototypes and refining them based on feedback and testing results. This is where you actually design, develop, and test your software. The engineering phase is iterative, meaning that the team continuously refines the software based on testing and feedback. This ensures that the final product is robust and meets the project's objectives. And finally, we've got evaluation. This phase is all about assessing the project's progress and determining what needs to be done in the next iteration. The team reviews the work completed so far, identifies any issues, and makes adjustments as needed. This is where you take a step back, assess your progress, and figure out what needs to happen in the next iteration. Evaluation is crucial for continuous improvement. It allows the team to learn from their experiences and make necessary adjustments to improve the project's outcome. And then you do it all over again. Each iteration builds on the previous one, incorporating lessons learned and making the software better and more refined. This cyclical process continues until the project is complete. Each loop builds on the last, refining your software, mitigating risks, and getting you closer and closer to the finish line. The spiral model's iterative nature ensures that the project evolves and improves over time, ultimately leading to a successful and high-quality software product. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the spiral model. We've covered a lot of ground, from its risk-taming advantages to its complexity-induced drawbacks. But remember, the best tool for the job always depends on the job itself. The spiral model is a powerful approach to software engineering, but it's not for the faint of heart. It requires careful planning, meticulous risk analysis, and a commitment to collaboration. But when used correctly, it can help you build truly amazing software. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into software engineering. And remember, whether you're building the next big app or just starting out on your coding journey, always be curious, always be learning, and never be afraid to experiment.